welcome to HBTV Weekly Report. Viviana Granillo is on vacation. I'm Shelley Aragon, and this is the HBTV Weekly Report. On today's show, we have trending headlines, we'll check in with Lindita's Kitchen, the Sports Exchange with Alex Ramirez, and of course, the Chisme of the Week. Let's get started. The United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce today announced the launch of a new capital initiative and new partnership with Small Business Community Capital. Through the initiative, the U.S. Hispanic Chamber will offer its network of entrepreneurs and business owners the ability to apply for a variety of SBCC capital and strategic support funding. U.S. Hispanic President and CEO Javier Ramirez commented, "The United States Hispanic Chamber is thrilled to partner with the SBCC Investment Fund, a historic achievement in its own right to provide significant access to capital for small businesses throughout America." SBCC is one of the few Hispanic-led and Latina-managed SBIC funds in the history of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and it will be co-led by Monica Mantilla, President and CEO of Altura Capital and Managing Partner of SBCC. On the education front, earning a college degree is supposed to be a pathway to higher wages, greater wealth, and protection from economic shocks. But for millions of African Americans and Hispanic graduates, higher education has failed to serve as a buffer against financial crisis. A new study from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis found that while college-educated African Americans and Hispanics had more assets than those without degrees, grads typically fared worse in the face of financial turmoil. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with Lindita's Kitchen.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
Hola and welcome to Lindita's Kitchen. I am Lindita and I've got a wonderful Texan ceviche for you, and it's so refreshing. So let's get started like right now. And I've already went ahead and I've rinsed and cleaned and took off the little tail of the shrimp. So you need a pound of that. So we're gonna add it to our large bowl. And of course you're gonna need some orange juice. And I do like the clamato juice. Okay, let's shake it up a little bit, no? Yeeks. All right, and then we're gonna add it right into our shrimp. And you'll see once we get all this combination together, yow. So you'll need about a quart of tomato juice. Okay, and if you get this spicy, that's also good. You can add some Linditas if you wanna get it hotter, but we're gonna go with the recipe and add 1/2 red onion. Just go ahead and dice it up, just like that. Add it right to it. We're gonna add 1 jalapeno. Híjole, if you wanna que te pique, leave the seeds in there. That's what my mother used to say. Yo quiero algo que me pique. Something that just gets that little bite, no? Okay. So we used 1 jalapeno. And the bigger the better is not always true. You wanna also check the veins in the jalapeno. If it's got some really dark veins, and when you cut it open, it's not always in the seed, it's also in the vein. That's just a little tip I want to give you that I learned from a place we're going to be visiting soon. So we're going to use 1 bunch of the cilantro, fresh cilantro, and I took it out of my little herb garden in the back. So wonderful to have that. Ay, ay, ay. And then, of course, you're going to need some limes and lemons. So we're doing it the Mexican way, no con un tenedor. And we're going to squeeze out the lime and the lemons. Okay, this is the lime, okay, and the lemon, right? Which one is it? Both. We're gonna use both. So use 1 of each. And again, with this recipe, you can double it up or cut it in half if you don't want this much, okay? Aye. You get that little on the back of your tongue, when it's kind of sour, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, uno más. I was like, man, how much do you need? And you can add some more, shrimp if you like, or add some other seafood. But, this is the way we make it San Antonio style. Then we're gonna go ahead and add 2 avocados, and I've already cubed them up for you. Okay, let me just stir it up a little bit. Mira, híjole. Okay, we're gonna cube it up, add the avocado, and with the lime, the lime juice and the lemon, it'll keep the avocado green. It won't turn brown, like it does if you let it sit out. Okay. This recipe actually, came from Mexico, and it's changed as it's made it up. It's made it up to the United States. We've kind of added our own flair to it as well. So I do like the avocados in there, and I could add more because I'm an avocado girl. We all are, aren't we? Okay, so we've got all this. We're gonna mix it up. Los aromas aquí. It reminds me also of sitting in the back, in San Antonio, South San Bernardo with my familia drinking a cold beer. You gotta have some ceviche. And now we're gonna refrigerate this, and it's best to refrigerate it for about a couple of hours, and oh my God, look how refreshing that is. And it gets nice and chilled, and you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna stick this in the refrigerator, and then we're gonna set it up to serve. Oh my, I've been chilling this, and it is nice and cold, and that's what you want for this recipe. We're gonna plate it up like this. Mira, híjole. Pull this out. Make it nice and pretty. It's a great presentation, and that's the way it should be because it represents us. You have your shrimp, your onion, your cilantro, and you want to put some juice in there because, you gotta have that flavor. And all that lime, híjole. Mira, San Antonio will be very proud of me. I'm gonna add 1 more shrimp to that. Mira, tan bonito, no? Serve it up with some crackers, and you want to garnish it with a little cilantro as well, because I'm a cilantro girl, and when you have a cilantro garden, you want to use it in every dish you have. And it makes it so beautiful, and the presentation is just awesome. Ceviche. ¿Qué más lo quiere? Oh, I love it. I'm going to just dip right into it. Before I do that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me in Lindita's Kitchen, and see what's happening next time. Thank you. Adios.
Do you or your child have the back-to-school blues? If so, you're not the only ones. Saying goodbye to slower summer days can be difficult. These 4 back-to-school tips will help to reduce the stress and tension. Number 1, connected communication. Engage in a conversation with your child and ask what he or she is excited and concerned about for the upcoming school year. Number 2, creative calendars. Planning ahead makes adults feel prepared, which is a huge de-stressor. The same goes for your child. Number 3, visualize the goal. Get specific and help your child visualize the first day of school. And number 4, load up on brain food. Breakfast is coined the most important meal of the day, and rightfully so. Food is the fuel for the brain and body. Right on the heels of Intel's Mixed Result Diversity Report, last week Apple also released information on its workplace demographics. Apple CEO Tim Cook proudly announced that the company had increased the rates at which it hired underrepresented minorities in the past year. Indeed, many of the hiring figures reflected a concerted effort to begin expanding Apple's workforce beyond the insular, white, male-dominated Silicon Valley norm. Specifically, Apple increased hiring of women by 65% over the past year, with over 11,000 women joining the tech company globally since 2014's report. Cook also boasted hiring over 2,200 Black employees, which represents a 50% increase in the hiring rates over the year, along with 2,700 new Latino employees, a 66% increase. Next up, the Sports Exchange with Alex Ramirez.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at activeforlife.ca.
Welcome back to another edition of the Sports Exchange. I'm your host, Alex Ramirez. Today we'll be covering a wide variety of trending topics in the world of sports. The NFL, Pac-12 football, boxing, and much more. Construction of an NFL stadium in the Los Angeles area could come with another change, a possible shift in division for the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. The teams have proposed a shared $1.78 billion stadium in the city of Carson, one of two stadium projects being considered by the NFL near the Los Angeles area that could bring back professional football back to the region after a 2-decade absence. Carmen Policy, a former San Francisco 49ers executive who was hired to help oversee the Carson project, said Monday that the teams have agreed to shift divisions, if necessary, to make the project acceptable to the league. The Chargers and the Raiders are rivals in the AFC West, which could make game scheduling and other issues difficult in a shared stadium. We will continue to follow the story as it develops. This week's tour of the Pac-12 takes us to Palo Alto, California and the Stanford Cardinals, who last year finished 8-5 overall and 4-5 in the Pac-12 and earned a bowl bid against the Maryland Terrapins, who they beat 45-21 in the Foster Farms Bowl game. This year, head coach David Shaw, whose overall record of 42-12, 2-2 in bowl games, looks to improve on a much younger team coming into the season. Speaking of college, the National Labor Relations Board announced Monday that it will not uphold its Chicago's Office 2014 ruling that Northwestern football players are employees of the university. That means athletes in private schools will not be able to unionize. The board punted on the decision whether athletes are employees, but still will not let Northwestern's players unionize. The main issue in the board's eyes was deciding on the difference between public and private schools, since public schools would not be covered under the ruling. This is an unexpected decision that delivers a blow to the push for expanded rights for athletes. And finally, Miguel Cotto will defend his middleweight title against Canelo Alvarez on November 21st in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Resort. There have been some huge championship showdowns between fighters from Puerto Rico and Mexico, including some classic bouts. None might not be as good as the one announced this past week. The rivalry of one of the most intense in boxing has included some huge fights, including Julio Cesar Chavez against Hector Macho Camacho, Felix Trinidad against Oscar De La Hoya, and Cotto's 2 rumbles against Antonio Margarito. It should be a fight for the ages. Let's hope the fans get their money's worth this time around.
Thanks, Alex. And finally, it's time for the Chisme of the Week. Drum roll, please. Hervé Leger dresses are a mainstay on major red carpets and late night clubs, of course. But one of the brand's designers revealed he doesn't want just anyone donning his designs, and he got pretty candid about it in a bizarre interview that managed to offend on multiple levels. Patrick Corday, the managing director of Hervé Leger in London, said in an interview that voluptuous women or women with very prominent hips and a very flat chest should not wear his dresses. Also on the no list, if you're a committed lesbian and you are wearing trousers all your life, you won't want to buy a Leger dress. The Max Azaria group has released a statement saying that Corday has been fired from his position. The Hervé Leger by Max Azaria brand celebrates sensuality, glamour, and femininity without discrimination. And that is why Patrick Corday wins the Chisme of the Week. This has been the HBTV Weekly Report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shelley Aragon. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And we'll see you next week.